First of all, like and subscribe, and then listen. Amazing stories. 1. The Elephant in the Dark Room. A group of people is brought into a dark room where an elephant is placed. Since they cannot see, each person touches a different part of the elephant and describes it accordingly. One touches the trunk and says, "It's like a snake." Another touches the leg and thinks it's tree, and so on. Each person believes their perspective is correct, though they only have partial knowledge. Lesson. This story teaches that human perception is limited, and we often misunderstand reality when we rely only on partial knowledge. True understanding comes from seeing the bigger picture. 2. The reed flute's lament. Rumi compares the human soul to a reed flute that has been cut from its original place and now sings in sorrow. The flute longs to return to its source just as the human soul yearns to reunite with the divine. Lesson. This story symbolizes the spiritual journey of humans, emphasizing the longing for divine connection and the pain of separation from God. 3. The Grammarian and the Boatman. A scholar once boasted about his knowledge to a simple boatman, mocking him for not knowing grammar. Later, when a storm hit, the boatman asked the scholar if he knew how to swim. When the scholar admitted he didn't, the boatman replied, "Then your whole life's knowledge is useless, as you do not know how to save yourself." Lesson. This story teaches humility and the value of practical knowledge. Intellectual arrogance is meaningless if one does not have wisdom and adaptability. 4. The Wise Parrot and the Merchant. A merchant had a talking parrot in a cage. When he planned a trip to India, he asked the parrot what he wanted. The parrot requested the merchant to convey a message to its free companions. When the merchant delivered the message, one parrot heard it and fell dead. Shocked, the merchant returned home and told his parrot about it. Upon hearing this, his own parrot collapsed. Thinking it had died, the merchant took it out of the cage, but the parrot suddenly flew away, explaining that his friend had taught him the way to freedom. Lesson. This story symbolizes wisdom, freedom, and self-liberation. Sometimes a deep message can guide us toward true freedom. 5. The Donkey in the Lion's Skin. A foolish man once dressed his donkey in a lion's skin and let it roam freely. People, thinking it was a lion, became terrified and ran away. However, one day the donkey brayed loudly, and the people immediately realized it was just a donkey in disguise. They beat it and drove it away. Lesson. Pretending to be something you are not will not last forever. Eventually, your true nature will be revealed. Superficial appearances cannot replace true wisdom and character. 5. The Thief Who Prayed. A thief entered a house at night to steal, but before starting his theft, he performed prayers. A wise man caught him and said, "If only you had spent as much effort in honest work as you do in praying while stealing, you would not need to steal at all." Lesson: actions speak louder than words. Pretending to be righteous while engaging in dishonest deeds is hypocrisy. True piety is in being just and honest. 6. The scholar and the candle. A great scholar once went to a saint and asked for wisdom. The saint blew out a candle and asked, "What was this light made of?" The scholar answered, "Wax and fire." The saint then asked, "And where has it gone now?" The scholar could not answer. The saint explained, "This is the nature of life. Everything is temporary. Do not cling to worldly things." Lesson: this story teaches about the temporary nature of life and material possessions. One should seek true wisdom, which is eternal, rather than getting attached to fleeting worldly desires. 7. The man who wanted to change the world. A man once thought, "I will change the world." After years of trying, he realized it was too difficult, so he decided to change his country instead. When that failed, he tried to change his town, then his family. Finally, in old age, he realized that if he had worked on changing himself first, perhaps the world around him would have changed as well. Lesson: change starts from within. Instead of trying to change others, one should improve themselves, and in doing so, they can influence others positively. 9. The boat without an oar. A man built a beautiful boat, but forgot to include an oar. When he tried to row, he realized he could not move forward. People laughed at him, saying, "What good is a boat without an oar?" Lesson: faith without action is like a boat without an oar. One cannot reach their destination without effort and dedication. 10. The king and the servant's loyalty. A king once tested his servant's loyalty by asking him to deliver a secret message. On the way, the servant was attacked, but protected the message with his life. When he finally reached his destination, the king rewarded him greatly for his trustworthiness. Lesson: loyalty, honesty, and trustworthiness are always rewarded, whether by people or by God. Staying true to one's duty leads to great rewards. 11. The beggar and the hidden treasure. A poor man prayed for wealth day and night. One day, a wise man told him, "Dig under your own house, and you will find treasure." The man dug and discovered a hidden treasure buried beneath his home. Lesson: this story teaches that what we seek is often within us. Instead of searching for happiness and success outside, we should look inward and recognize the blessings and potential we already have. 12. The clever parrot and the perfume seller. A perfume seller had a talking parrot that entertained customers. One day, the parrot knocked over a bottle of expensive perfume. The angry shopkeeper hit the parrot, and it stopped speaking. Days passed, and the shopkeeper regretted his actions. One day, the parrot saw a bald man and suddenly spoke. "Did someone hit you too, and that's why you lost your hair?" The shopkeeper and the customers laughed. Lesson: wisdom is not limited to scholars. Sometimes even the simplest beings can make profound observations. The story also reminds us that kindness brings out the best in others, while cruelty silences them. 13. The Farmer and the Snake. A farmer found a frozen snake in winter and took it home, thinking he was helping it. When the snake warmed up, it bit the farmer. As he lay dying, the farmer asked, "Why did you bite me?" The snake replied, "It is my nature." Lesson: this story warns against trusting those who are naturally harmful. Some people may pretend to change, but their true nature remains the same. Be wise in choosing whom to trust. 14. The man who complained to God. A man prayed to God, saying, "Why have you not given me wealth?" One day he had a dream where God told him, "I have given you hands to work, a mind to think, and a heart to love. If you do not use them, how can I give you more?" Lesson: we already have everything we need to succeed. Instead of complaining, we should use our abilities wisely. Hard work, faith, and gratitude bring true success. 15. The Candle and the Sun. A candle once boasted, "I give light in the darkness." But when the sun rose, its light disappeared. The candle realized it was nothing in comparison to the great sun. Lesson: this story symbolizes human pride versus divine wisdom. No matter how much we think we know, there is always something greater beyond our understanding. Humility is the key to true wisdom. 16. The Wise Man and the Foolish Guest. A man invited guests to his home. One guest kept complaining about the food, the seating, and everything else. The host finally said, "You are welcome to leave if you do not like it." The foolish guest replied, "No, I will stay and continue to complain." Lesson: some people focus only on problems instead of appreciating blessings. Gratitude brings joy, while complaints make life miserable. 17. The Lion and the Beast's Agreement. A lion ruled over the jungle, and the animals, fearing him, made a deal. Every day they would send one animal as food, so the lion would not hunt them. One day it was a rabbit's turn. The rabbit took its time and finally arrived late. The lion roared, "Why are you late?" The rabbit said, "I saw another lion claiming to be the king." The lion became furious and asked to be taken to this rival. The clever rabbit led the lion to a deep well and pointed inside. The lion saw its reflection in the water and, thinking it was another lion, jumped in and drowned. Lesson: intelligence is more powerful than brute strength. Overconfidence and anger can lead to one's downfall. 18. The Man and the mirror. A man complained that the world was full of evil people. A wise man gave him a mirror and said, "First, look at yourself." Lesson. Before judging others, we should examine our own actions. Self-awareness is the first step toward improving the world. 19. The bird and the hunter. A hunter caught a bird. The bird said, "If you set me free, I will give you 3 valuable pieces of advice." The hunter agreed. 1. While in your hand, do not believe everything you hear. 2. When sitting on a tree branch, do not regret what is lost. 3. After flying far away, there was a diamond in my stomach. The hunter cried, realizing he had lost a great treasure. The bird laughed and said, "I told you not to regret what is lost." Lesson. Wisdom is more valuable than wealth. Also, acting wisely is more important than simply knowing wise words. 21. The miser and the hidden gold. A miser buried his gold in the ground and would visit it daily to admire it. A thief, noticing his routine, dug it up and stole it. When the miser discovered the loss, he wept. A wise man told him, "Since you never used it, why not simply place a rock there and imagine it is gold?" Lesson. Wealth is meant to be used wisely, not just hoarded. True riches are in generosity, not in accumulation. 22. The dog and the reflection. A dog carrying a bone walked by a river and saw its reflection. Thinking it was another dog with a bigger bone, it opened its mouth to bark and lost its own bone in the water. Lesson. Greed makes us lose what we already have. Instead of always wanting more, we should appreciate our blessings. 23. The king and the blindfolded man. A king ordered a man to be blindfolded and placed in a dark room with many obstacles. He told him, "If you find the exit, you will be free." The man kept bumping into obstacles and falling. Later, the king removed his blindfold and showed him that the door was right in front of him all along. Lesson. Many people struggle in life because they are blind to the truth. If we open our eyes to wisdom, we will find the right path. 24. The scholar and the shepherd. A scholar once mocked a shepherd for not knowing religious rules. The shepherd said, "I may not know all the rules, but I love God with all my heart." That night, the scholar had a dream in which God told him, "The shepherd's love is purer than your knowledge." Lesson. True spirituality is about love and sincerity, not just knowledge. God values a pure heart more than empty words. 25. The 3 fish. 3 fish lived in a pond, one wise, one clever, and one foolish. When a fisherman came, the wise fish escaped immediately. The clever fish pretended to be dead and was thrown back. The foolish fish got caught. Lesson. Wisdom and quick thinking can save us from trouble. Delaying decisions can lead to disaster. 26. The candle and the moth. A moth was attracted to the flame of a candle. Despite warnings, it flew too close and burned. Before dying, it said, "Now I understand true love." Lesson. True love requires sacrifice, but blind passion can lead to destruction. Wisdom must balance emotions. 27. The man who wanted a perfect wife. A man searched for a perfect wife. He found a kind woman, but said she was not beautiful. He found a beautiful woman, but said she lacked intelligence. Finally, he found a woman who was both kind and beautiful, but she wanted a perfect husband. Lesson. Perfection does not exist in people. Instead of searching for perfection, we should appreciate and build love on real qualities. 28. The crow and the nightingale. A crow envied the nightingale's beautiful voice. It asked, "How can I sing like you?" The nightingale replied, "Instead of trying to be like me, embrace your own voice." Lesson. True happiness comes from accepting ourselves instead of comparing ourselves to others. 29. The lion and the mouse. A mouse was caught by a lion. The mouse begged for mercy and promised to help the lion someday. The lion laughed, but let it go. Later, the lion was caught in a hunter's net. The mouse chewed through the ropes and freed the lion. Lesson. Never underestimate anyone based on their size or position. Small acts of kindness can bring great rewards. 30. The merchant and the talking skull. A merchant found a talking skull in the desert. It warned him, "Do not speak too much, or you will end up like me." The merchant ignored the warning and kept talking carelessly. Eventually, his words got him into trouble, and he was executed. Lesson. Speaking without thinking can lead to disaster. Silence and wisdom are more valuable than unnecessary words. 31. The king and the servant's dream. A servant told the king, "I dreamt you lost your teeth." The king was angry and punished him. Another man said, "Your dream means you will outlive your family." The king rewarded him. Lesson. The truth is the same, but how we present it matters. Words have the power to heal or hurt. 32. The man and the scorpion. A man saw a scorpion drowning and tried to save it, but it stung him. A passerby said, "Why help it?" The man replied, "It is in the scorpion's nature to sting, but it is in my nature to help." Lesson. Do good regardless of how others treat you. Our kindness should not depend on others' actions. 33. The carpenter and the thief. A thief broke into a carpenter's shop. Seeing sharp tools, he thought, "These are dangerous." The carpenter laughed and said, "Tools are only dangerous if used the wrong way." Lesson. Anything can be used for good or bad. It depends on the intention of the person using it. 34. The two travelers and the gold. Two men found a bag of gold. One suggested they divide it. The other secretly planned to poison his friend. But before he could act, the first man attacked and killed him. Then he ate the poisoned food and also died. Lesson: greed and betrayal lead to destruction. Honesty and fairness bring true success. 35. The wise man and the child. A child cried over a broken toy. A wise man said, "Why cry over what cannot be fixed? Instead, build something new." Lesson: life moves forward. Instead of mourning the past, we should focus on creating a better future. 36. The guest house. A metaphor from Rumi's poetry. Rumi compares life to a guest house where emotions come and go like visitors. Some bring joy, some bring pain, but all are temporary. Lesson: happiness and sorrow are part of life. Accept them and do not let any emotion control you. 37. The boat and the shore. A man feared drowning and refused to board a boat. A wise man said, "Do not fear the water. The boat will keep you safe." Lesson: faith is like a boat. It helps us navigate life's storms. Fear should not stop us from moving forward. 38. The moon and the thief. A thief stole from a monk. The monk said, "I wish I could give you the moon, but it is beyond my reach." Lesson: spiritual wealth is greater than material wealth. True richness comes from inner peace, not possessions. 39. The blind men and the elephant. Several blind men touched different parts of an elephant. One felt the trunk and thought it was a snake. Another touched the leg and thought it was a tree. Each believed they knew the whole truth. Lesson: people see only part of the truth. Wisdom comes from understanding multiple perspectives. 40. The bird in the cage. A bird in a golden cage longed for freedom. One day, the door was left open, but the bird did not leave because it had forgotten how to fly. Lesson: we often create our own limitations. Freedom is useless if we do not have the courage to use it. 20. The merchant and the weighing scale. A merchant had a scale that weighed fairly. One day he thought, "If I make it slightly dishonest, I will earn more." But when he started cheating, customers lost trust, and he lost everything. Lesson: honesty leads to long-term success, while dishonesty destroys trust and brings failure. If you liked the video, then like and subscribe.